So Dr. Michael Valentine here, Dr. Leonard Valentine over here. What we're going to do is kind of talk about mild traumatic brain injuries, also known as concussions. So many times people are involved in car accidents and they kind of feel shaken up, they're kind of shocked, surprised. Of course, the body's releasing the the endorphins, which of course is a protective mechanism, in particular adrenaline. So what happens is that adrenaline will wear off, and for everyone it's a little different. It can be within a few hours, over 3, 4, 5 days. So you're not always going to feel the effects of what we call a concussion. Well, now we know the latest research. There is a blood test that can detect an actual concussion. That has to unfortunately be done within 12 hours. Also, medical facilities, including the urgent care facilities, are not yet running this test, even though it's been approved by the FDA. So that's why it's always important to contact us as soon as you get in a car accident so we can order this blood test and get this identified. With a concussion, again, you might not black out. It might just be confused thinking. It might be not being able to concentrate. It might be not able to sleep well, brain fog, those type of things. So what we in particular do is we do what we call concussion repair therapy. That's real critical. So what we're going to do, and we're going to demonstrate, is that we have a nebulizer here that Dr. Leonard's holding in his hand, and we're going to turn on this machine. It's a nebulizer. With this, a glutathione, it's got to go intranasally, which means you're going to breathe it in from the nose. The reason being is that directly goes to the brain versus if we take it into our lungs, which goes into the pulmonary system and then into the blood. So that's what he's going to do. He's taking it into the nose and he's going to hold that. Now this procedure is approximately anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes in doing the intranasal glutathione. And as far as I know, we're one of the few offices that do that. We'll also create a link on this psychiatrist, neurologist, Dr. Engel, that talks about, he's actually written a book. It's called the Concussion Repair Manual. It's a great book, and it refers to the things that we do here in the office. Now, if we move on, and you can follow us, and sorry for the movement, but we want to show you other things. This device right here is non-surgical cervical decompression. So when individuals are injured at the time of impact, the neck is going to compress alone approximately an inch. That's why so many whiplash type of injuries lead to disc problems. And those disc problems then become a lifelong situation. So we want to get at that as soon as possible. With this device, a person lies on their back and their neck is cradled in here, and this is computerized. It's based on an algorithm which is going to open and separate the neck. What does that do? That's activating the receptors in the brain area to get the brain through what we call the rehabilitation. So not only does your spine need rehabilitation, but your brain needs rehabilitation as well. You're on that for approximately 17 minutes. Follow me in here. We'll talk about other things that are critical. And what we have here is the laser. Now the laser is something that needs to be done, and it's done with glasses. And you have to wear the prescription glasses. So Dr. Leonard's got that in his hand right here. We're not going to turn it on. It is not a hot laser, it's a cold laser. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put that in the ear. So we're going to put that against the ear so that that can go into the middle ear and, of course, the acoustic nerve, which is real critical. In addition to this being done, and you're going to go through 90 seconds approximately 4 times, you might do both sides. What we see with people that have been involved in accidents, even when the airbags have not gone off, is what we call tinnitus. Some people say tinnitus, tinnitus. We say tinnitus, but that's a ringing in the ears. That is devastating type of circumstance. Many times a person's got a loud noise, more in one than the other, like a ringing, and that can affect their ability to sleep, ability to concentrate, and just be super annoying. We also can place it on the brain area. So what happens is a coupe, contra coupe. What that means is whether you are impacted from the back or from the front, your spine is going to go through whiplash, or even side impacts. That means ultimately the brain is going to impact against our skull or our cranium. It's real critical to do this on different areas of the brain because we want to get that brain healthy, okay? The brain, think of it like anything in our body. Once there's a trauma, trauma means that there's inflammation. So the same is occurring with this type of injury when we have a whiplash type of injury, that it creates an inflammatory process, and that can lead to long-term problems, memory problems. If we go in this other room, we have what we call whole body vibration. Whole body vibration, Dr. Leonard, do you want to demonstrate this, please? Whole body vibration is been utilized actually and invented in Germany, East Germany, and Russia. The reason why they utilize this is because of the fact that it actually stimulates. It stimulates multiple systems. It's going to stimulate the brain. It's going to stimulate the lymphatic system. It's going to stimulate the bone as far as strengthen the bone. It's going to stimulate and get the body to break down what we call scar tissue. As you can see, what he's doing, he's using head weights because there is a loss of curve in the neck with a whiplash type of trauma. He's also
the lower back too, the strengthening of the back and neck as well.
Absolutely. So what he's doing is he's doing actually a special whipping type of circumstance with his right arm. And that's activating his left brain. It is working the arm muscles a bit, but it's activating the brain as well. So that's a good exercise to do, going through whole body vibration as well as the head weights. The head weights are to bring the head backwards. If you see people that end up going like this over time, the reason being is they've had a trauma, but because the brain is going through some degeneration, God forbid. When we talk about the brain degenerating, what does it mean? The brain's actually getting smaller. As the brain gets smaller, we now start to go more forward in our posture. And of course, that leads to us as ultimately, in the death process, we want to curl back up to the original state that we're born in. And then as you can see here, you'll see multiple pieces of equipment here that are utilized. And as far as we know, no office uses the combination. You could go ahead and get on the wobble chair even, Dr. Leonard. But the combination of equipment is real essential for rehab. He's now going to get on what's called the wobble chair. The wobble chair is real critical. So remember, we talked about the disc. The disc has a pressure like a car tire of 25 pounds per square inch. Remember, the neck compresses about 1 inch at the time of impact. Well, that compression is too much for the disc to withstand. So we will see what we call degenerative disc disease start to take place. At the age of 10, there is no blood supply to the disc. That's why it's real critical that the vertebrae are moving independently of one another so that that can act as a pumping mechanism to bring the blood and nutrients into the disc and keep it healthy. So he is exercising and working out the spine, the lower back in particular, and the hips, but it's also working the mental capacity, which is real critical for rehab. So if you have any questions, if you know someone that, God forbid, that's in an accident and they're kind of letting things slide, have them give us a call as soon as possible. You don't want to wait. And unfortunately, many times when people are injured in an accident, their first call is to an attorney. Well, not all attorneys understand the treatment, that's necessary for specific recovery. So that's what kind of makes us different. So Dr. Michael, Dr. Leonard Valentine Chiropractic here in Fountain Valley, 714-964-9566. And we hope you enjoyed this educational about concussion repair. And again, look for the links that we're going to put on after this video, which should be on in a few minutes. There'll be links to the concussion repair manual, and there's also going to be that blood test that has been approved by the FDA that we're now starting to educate the medical professions on. Have a good day.